Time for market and move on. Is Obama gay? Needing attention over an old letter. What? I should read that again. Anyway, no, we'll just keep going. The New York Post obtained a redacted portion of a handwritten letter the former president sent to his then college girlfriend, Alex McNear. Alex, eh? Back in 1982. He talked about his, quote, androgynous mind and wrote, and I'm quoting Obama here, I make love to men daily, but in the imagination. Kat, this is fantasizing. Is fantasizing about having sex with men gay?
Well, as an expert in man-on-man gay sex.
That's why I asked you.
I think it's so horrible that somebody released this.
Yeah, I know.
Stuff that you say when you're 21, people are going to be like, what did you mean when you were 21? He's 21, saying stuff in a letter.
How do they get these?
Exactly. I'm like sitting here sweating, thinking about everyone I ever sent a text message to when I was 21.
Don't make me sympathize with Obama.
Oh, I that's easy to do in this situation.
Yeah, what, Tyrus? Well,
my blackness won't allow me to comment on this. Listen, I can only assume he really wanted to get out of the relationship really bad.
Yeah.
And I can relate because I was in a relationship to where every time I tried to leave the right way, it was not going to happen.
So you just said I'm gay.
So I couldn't. But the problem was I'm not as civilized as I am now. I had different theories of that lifestyle back then. I was going to say it so she would leave, and I was like, I'm just going to try to work this out a little longer. I couldn't say it. So it had to be really bad for him to say that. Because if he says that, the woman typically will overthink it to death. And like every time we're together, do you think of men? And then he'll say, yeah. And she'll be like, well, I can't be with you anymore. But I can't help it.
And it's not her fault.
And it's not his fault.
Yeah.
He was born that way.
Yeah, he's born that way.
It is really the best way to get out of it.
It's Lady Gaga's fault.
No one loses. And she'll say, like, we can be friends. And he'll be like, yes, we can.
That's true. We'll go shopping. We will go shopping.
At some point.
Kennedy, there was no comment yet from the former First Lady, although insiders say that Michelle told Barack from now on he can open his own jars.
Barack Obama taking on Republican presidential candidates for trying to downplay racial inequality in the United States. The former president calling on Republicans to present, quote, an honest accounting of our past and our present.
If somebody's not proposing, not both acknowledging and proposing elements that say, no, we can't just ignore all that and pretend as if everything's equal and fair. We actually have to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. If they're not doing that, then I think people are rightly skeptical. There may come a time where there's somebody in the Republican Party that is more serious about actually addressing some of the deep inequality that still exists in our society that tracks race and is a consequence of our racial history. And if that happens, I think that would be fantastic. I haven't yet seen it.
That was the former president responding in an interview with David Axelrod in the Axe Files to a question about comments Republican presidential candidate Senator Tim Scott has made a core part of his campaign. He said this on The View recently.
One of the reasons why I'm on the show is because of the comments that were made, frankly, on this show, that the only way for a young African-American kid to be successful in this country is to be the exception and not the rule. That is a dangerous, offensive, disgusting message to send to our young people today, that the only way to succeed is by being the exception. I will tell you that if my life is the exception, I can't imagine.
But it is.
But it's not, actually.
All right, the conversation continued. So let's have it here now. Joe Pinion is a Republican strategist and the former U.S. Senate candidate from New York. Keisha Lance Bottoms is the former mayor of Atlanta and a former senior advisor to President Biden. Joe, you're here with me, so let me start with you. Just to put some numbers around this, Sonny Hostin, who was there with Senator Scott, responded with some numbers as well. But just take the median income for black households in America. These are the latest numbers from the Census Bureau. $48,000, just about. For white households, $74,000. Now, obviously, that's just one number, right? I'm not trying to answer everything with it.
Hi friends, it's Tisha Powell, former Fox News guest, and you've just seen two segments, one on Fox News with Greg Gotfield, and the other one with CNN Erin Burnett. And today we are going to talk about two politicians, former President Barack Obama and rising star Vivek Ramaswamy. We're going to show you a segment with Al Shapiro, Reverend Al Shapiro on MSNBC, trying to jab Vivek Ramaswamy on something Ramaswamy said, but it didn't work. Ramaswamy fight back. But let's talk about what's going on with President Barack Obama. I'm Tisha Powell. I went to the 7th National Legal Research and Writing Law School in the United States, according to U.S. News Report. So the information I bring to you is accurate. We do not make stuff up just so we can get stories. As you can tell, Greg Gotfield from Fox, he looked at the New York Post. They have a letter from President Barack Obama. President Barack Obama wrote a 30-page letter to his then girlfriend, who's now his ex-girlfriend. And Barack Obama, president at the time, he wasn't president. He was debating his, his political move. He's got a lot going for him. And he said to his ex-girlfriend in the letter that he make love to men daily. The New York Post is saying that. I'm a black woman. Blacks are Christians. Most blacks are conservative. They read the Bible. So this is something that people struggle with, being gay, because it's against the community and the Bible. So we're not here to judge President Barack Obama. This happened years ago. It doesn't mean he's gay today. He make love to men daily in his head. And now Tucker Carlson, remember Tucker Carlson from Fox? Remember Fox and Tucker Carlson parted ways? And Fox News sent a cease and desist letter to Tucker, and Tucker just lawyered up. And Tucker has a really good show on Twitter. And Tucker had a gentleman on, Mr. Sinclair, and Mr. Sinclair said he had an intimate relationship with former President Barack Obama. This was before President Barack Obama was president. This white gentleman said he even did cocaine or crack with President Barack Obama. And Tucker Carlson has this gentleman on. It's on the internet. Tucker Carlson's blown up the internet. He had Donald Trump on with 200 million views. This is why Fox and Tucker are like fighting. Tucker is credible. He is credible. And he had this gentleman on. The gentleman has no reason to come on internet and lie. I mean, it would be defamation and he would have been sued. President Barack Obama isn't perfect, okay? Get over with the perfectionists. We're all battling something in our lives. But what's deceptive about this, what people are saying is like, why do you care what's going on in President Barack Obama's personal life? I'm not saying that we care what's going on in his personal life. Is now we know why the woke culture has risen so fast. So, as you heard from Erin Burnett from CNN, the average black family makes $48,000. The average white family in the United States makes $73,000 or $78,000. We had a black president. Why didn't the black president do something about that? Time magazine said that in 1998, President Barack Obama, he was undecided about same-sex marriage. In 2010, President Barack Obama, he repelled the don't ask, don't tell in the military. In 2012, President Barack Obama was the first president to do same-sex marriage in the United States. Ooh, this is the same president who desired or wrote to his ex-girlfriend saying he make love to men daily. So that's why we could tell that nothing was done about the blacks in jail. Nothing was done about diversity for black. But look, the first black president made same-sex marriage in 2012. And in 2015, President Barack Obama was the first president in the United States to use the word transgender. And then in 2015, President Barack Obama made it a law that parents were going to get their children therapy when the child was like, you're born a girl, you want to be a boy, or you're born a boy, you want to be a girl. So parents were trying to help their kids to understand that whatever you are, you are. President Barack Obama said, no, do not do that therapy anymore. Could it be because President Barack Obama is also struggling with the same thing? Now you see why the woke agenda grew so fast under President Barack Obama. Because President Barack Obama also struggles. He struggled. We don't know if he's struggling anymore, but he wrote in a letter, and New York Post has it. Greg Golfi just had it. We know Tucker Carlson had somebody on the show that said a man said he had intimate relationship with Barack Obama. And we know President Barack Obama wrote that back in the 1990s, that he imagined making love to men daily in his head. Of course, hear what Reverend Sharpton and Vivek Ramaswamy have to say.
I know you're an intellectually honest guy, and so I will remind you that Hakeem Jeffries drew analogies between Donald Trump and the Ku Klux Klan, and I don't think you had him on pressing him in the same way. So we're drawing analogies here to make a point.
He did not call Donald Trump the grand dragon of the KKK. He did not call Donald Trump an officer of the modern KKK. Let's not change what was said.
So, Reverend Sharpton, though, I'm calling out a double standard and saying that certain people can use certain analogies to make a point. Well, I'm using an analogy to make a point. And the point I'm making is we should stop seeing each other on the basis of our skin color. It was god-awful when the KKK did it. But you know what? We have to learn a lesson in the present that we're creating more racial division in this country.
But you
when
cannot
you say if you have black skin, you can only think one thing.
You cannot do it being insensitive to our feeling. That's like calling somebody of any kind of group that had a group that were terrorizing.
So I agree with you. We need sensitivity.
So I think we need to be very careful about that. And I wanted to raise that with you directly. Let me go to my next point.
And that was Reverend Sharpton trying to educate Vivek Ramaswamy, a very educated man, on why Vivek should just why you're a Republican. And Vivek Ramaswamy wasn't going to have it. He slammed Reverend Sharpton.